Hey beauties, we're getting into another soft look ready to go, and as you can see, we're starting off with the brows. I'm going in with my Wet n Wild dark brown pencil, just shaping them up and filling them in as much as I need to my desired preference, making sure that everything is nice and even. Of course, that's what we use the spoolie for, to distribute some of the product throughout the brow so we don't have to use as much, and making sure that everything is combed out. After doing that, I set everything in place with my favorite brow gel. Of course, there's different ones for different preferences. This one holds very good throughout the day. I'm going in with my concealer. That is the Honey, I want to say Maybeline Fit Me 30 in Honey. Putting that all over my lid, making sure that we have a nice even canvas to work with. I'm going in with a Royal Crown brush. You can find that brush collection on Alibaba. I love that particular brush because it reminds me of how you can use your finger to spread out evenly the product over an area and gives that nice flawless finish. But of course, you're just using the brush instead of your finger. I like it because it's dense. Like I said, it gives you that same type of effect, but instead of getting your hands dirty, there's a brush to do it for you, just to make sure that everything is nice, even, smooth, good coverage. And of course, you can go back and forth as much as you need to, because that is the blending technique. I follow that over with a beauty blender, not necessarily because I have to, but just to make sure that everything, or ensure that everything is nice and even. I'm going back in with a translucent color close to my skin tone, just to set everything in place, because I have a saying, once it's wet, you have to set. In order for everything to stay in place, when you're using anything liquid or cream based, you have to go back in and make sure that it will not move, because if you do not set something with a powder that is liquid or cream based, it is prone to move. I'm just filling in my brows with a little bit of brow powder because I felt like it needed to be a little bit more coverage and opaqueness. Following that up with the Warrior 2 palette, going in with, I want to say Canoof, I can't pronounce that. Everything is in the description below. I'm going in my crease area and deepening that up. This is basically another blended cut crease, but I'm going in with mattes just to make sure that all of my true beauties understand that you can pretty much use anything you want to achieve the look you want. I use Juvia's Place because I feel that it is a very, very good brand. You get bang for your buck, as in it is a very durable and very pigmented product without you having to spend hundreds of dollars on products to get the same coverage and product leverage. Going in with that same product, blending it in just to make sure that everything is in depth as much as I need to. Now, I sped it up just a little bit because I didn't want to take all of your time. I know it probably looks a little ridiculous, but I'm just going in the outer third with that same brush we used from earlier, touching up, making sure that I deepen the color as much as I need to achieve the look that I want. So if you don't want it as dark, you don't have to use as much product. But if you want it darker, I would suggest you going in with a darker pigment, like another color choice. You could definitely go in with black and then blend it out with the color that you're using now, or darker brown, to give you the achieved look that you want. This look in particular I chose, again, because you can do it for everyday wear and you can spice it up or tone it down as much as you need to. I kind of stay somewhat in the middle. It's somewhat noticeable to let you know that I'm wearing makeup, but again, you could pretty much use it for an everyday look because it's very, very simple. Going in and deepening the outer third of that cut crease look and just blending everything to make sure that everything is even to my desired preference. Going in with that same concealer, going in with a concealer brush and just carving out the natural shape of my lid. So I'm going in a little bit higher than where my crease is for my lid so it can show a little bit better. Normally when I do a look like this, I would go in with a lighter concealer in order for everything to match, but it still worked out with the concealer that I used. So that's basically the look. Going in, deepening everything as much as I possibly can with my eyes, and now I'm going in with my face. You know, my favorite combo for the everyday look. Going in, putting a foundation brush, a flat foundation brush. I know it's different. Normally I would use a denser foundation brush, somewhat like a powder brush. but it is a foundation brush because it does blend out for liquids. But I'm just going in with a regular flat foundation brush this time, just to give you versatility of the brushes, that you don't have to use the same exact brush. As long as you know what they're made for and how they work, you can pretty much use any brush you want to get the desired look of what you're trying to achieve. Going back in with that same beauty blender from earlier, just to make sure that everything is nice, even, and balanced. Of course, we want a clean canvas. Had to take the do-rag off to make sure that everything reaches where we needed to reach. Finally going in with my concealer, the same concealer from earlier, putting a touch up and centering or highlighting the center of my face, making sure that the look comes to life with a little bit more depth and contrast. So we're going to blend that in with a beauty blender after letting it set for a little while to warm up to the skin. And whatever I need to touch up in the moment that I'm letting the concealer warm up, I go in and do that as well. So I'm just taking an angled brush and just adding a little bit more depth to the crease area so you can see, I guess, a crisper line, as you can kind of see. It just gives more depth to the look. It's a cleaner cut versus it being blended. Now, if you don't want to do a blended cut crease and you just want it all to be blended together, you don't have to go back in with a concealer brush and basically do the same thing, and it gives you somewhat of a more softer approach or a blended look. Finally, setting in with my Blondie from Huda Beauty. I love that setting powder. It is so finely ground. You don't have to worry about anything going to waste with that. It just sets everything perfectly. And of course, if you want to actually bake, you go in with a little bit more setting powder and let it set on your face. But I'm just good with letting it set to be natural and to blend it with my my natural skin color. I love that. So I'm going in with the same palette from earlier, blending everything together with a contour. I love, again, Juvia's Place because it's just a good product. The pans are big, you get bang for your buck. The pigments of every color you have, I have so many of her palettes. It's phenomenal. But the favorites of mine, of course, are the Warrior 1 and 2. Going in and contouring all over the face, making sure that everything is blended nice and even, and touching up as much as I need to. Now, the wrist work, girl, for this look, for me, it was the contour, just to make sure that everything was blended, because my forehead, for some odd reason, looked boxed in today. And after finishing all of the blending, or where I want the contour to set, I go in with a face powder. I believe I'm using the Cashew Double Wear by Lauder today, and just blending everything out. This is a hack for me, or a beauty tip. When you set a powder using a translucent powder or some type of baking powder, setting powder, whatever, do not go in with a empty or a blank or a very new or clean brush. Put a powder on top of it in order for everything to blend out evenly, because you don't know what's going on with the makeup sometimes due to the weather or due to well, not so much the weather, but the temperature. Weather has a part of doing it. I'm talking too much. Anyway, I'm using the black Radiance eyeliner with that. But going back to my point, going in with a clean brush or a empty brush, you just have a risk of messing up the makeup. So don't do that. Go in with some type of finishing powder, mineral powder, and just buff everything off, and you get a smooth finish almost every time. So again, I'm going in with the black Radiance. This is a new eyeliner for me. I really like it. It's very matte. To say it was like $6, I was just trying it out. I couldn't find my CoverGirl makeup liner, which is like a staple for me, because that mug is just flawless. But this one I just grabbed by chance, and I'm glad I did, because it was a pretty good buy. I really like liquid eyeliners versus a gel one, because I feel for me it gives more fluidity or more movement versus a gel liner. But of course, you can definitely go in with Inglot. That is a tried and true staple for almost every makeup head I know, including myself. You just use a little bit of the mixing medium, and it gives you all of the movement or fluidity that you need, and it gives you great coverage. You don't have to go back or worry about spotting or anything. And the other two that I mentioned, the Black Radiance and the CoverGirl black liners, also do the same thing. This is just my opinion, or what I've experienced with those products. So we're going finally in with the lashes. As you can see, I'm using tweezers. I need you girlies to understand, look, it is in the middle of the band after already putting the glue down, making sure that everything is where I need it to be. I'm going in the middle of the lid as well, close to the lash line, making sure that everything is nice and set. Today, I feel like I was having a little bit of trouble because it was hot, so the glue didn't dry as normal as I'm used to. That's why I let people know when I do makeup or when they're doing their own makeup, pay attention to the temperature in the room, because if it's a little bit warmer, it might take a little bit longer or a little bit shorter for things to dry. So just pay attention. For me, because I live in a humid state, I live in Louisiana, it takes a little bit longer when it's humid outside or hotter outside because the glue does not want to dry quickly. If it's in a colder area, it dries quicker, so you don't have as much playtime or drying time as you may normally take. But this is pretty much the look. Going in with my highlighter, putting that all over the face, and I'm using my finger. I think I went back in with my powder puff. There we go. And normally I would use a fan brush, but again, I just want the girlies to know you don't have to use everything that is normal or normally recommended in order to achieve a specific look. I mean, like I said, if you know what you're doing, knowing how to blend it out, knowing where to put it and what the utensil that you're using is made for, girl, you can pretty much do whatever, and that's the beauty of makeup. And of course, if anything is too much, you go back in and blend it down just a little bit, like I'm doing with that blended beauty blender, setting everything with my rose water setting spray. And that is pretty much the look. Following up with my Lancôme lip. It is a peachy nude lip. I love nude lips for looks like this. I love nude lips, period, because that's for me. My preference is just a staple. I can change up the look at any given time, any given place. But for me, a good nude lip goes with everyday or special occasions. And of course, I'm going in with my favorite liner, which is also an actual liquid lipstick, but I use it as a liner most of the time. It is by the Infallible collection by L'Oréal. It is in 520. It smells like brownies because it's like chocolate. I love it. Going in with a little bit more color just to give me the achieved look that I want. I want a little bit more pinky nude versus it being kind of fleshed out. Setting everything again just to make sure that everything is in place. And that is the look for you girlies today. I had to rush because, girl, I was going to an appointment that I forgot I had for the doctor. And yeah, I know this hair, I was stressing that much, and you can tell because my hair was not doing what I wanted it to do. But that is the overall look. Thank you for staying with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more videos and tips like this. I see you beauties later. Bye.